Hello everyone, once again welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Reviving Destinies. Here we revive destinies. So into this video I just want to be as fast as possible. I am going to speak about why white people or white world seems to succeed in everything which they do. And also I'm going to touch another section, that why the success of white people stay for generations. That's what I'm going to talk about. Remember, in my channel I gather economic, social, psychological, spiritual, religious issues and gather them together and try to point the things which try to stop us to make it in life, and try to show our people how to fix those things. The problem is us, when we focus on the matters, we become specialists on focusing on few things, but we don't check things overall. That's one of the points which I'm going to raise into this. I just wrote some brainstorms of what I'm going to talk about into this video so that I can elaborate well. So the topic now is, most of people, when we address this thing, the question, we cannot run away from the fact that white people, wherever they are, they can be in Europe, America, Africa, most places, Australia, New Zealand, they make it. Most of them, more than 90% of them, they are successful when we compare to black people. So that's the topic of today. Most of people, when that thing is being raised, you'll hear people saying, because because colonization benefited them. Is that true? That's what I'm just going to raise. We are speaking about in this generation, not in the generation of colonization. Yes, colonization, there is intergenerational benefits of colonization, but also there are some factors which makes them or their wealth to stay for generations. Remember, if wealth is not maintained, even if a person can be advantaged, he will end up losing what belongs to them. That's to be honest. That's why most of, or some black people, wherever they are, they were successful. But because they didn't try to adapt the strategies to make sure that they will retain their success generationally, they ended up losing that wealth. So that's what I'm just going to talk about into this video. So when we look at the matters, yes, colonization is something which has that impact, has that contribution, but it's not only colonization. To be honest, that's what I'm going to address into this video. So the first thing is, when we look at the matters, some of the people, they become political. You see, the problem is when you become political, it's not the problem, but to only focus on the politics without focusing on other sections of life, that's where it starts to be a problem. So that's how it is. So trust me, before we can start lots of things, remember, civilization, or what I can call industrialization, started in Britain before it started everywhere in the world. That is the truth of the matter. So that civilization, or what I can call it, that industrialization makes them, or makes white people to be ahead of black people in most of things, not just in the issues of colonization. It makes them to be ahead in most of things, like mentally, physically, and other things. It makes them to be ahead. We know that they had weapons, powerful weapons, and all those things. Whereas us, black people, we were beat behind with some things, whereas we were too strong in certain things. For example, black people are too strong when it comes to spiritual matters, But when it comes to other sections, that's there we don't exist. Trust me. If we want to build our society, we have to speak the truth and try to lift our society with the truth. That fallacy of coming to the platform and try to teach our people that the reason why other races they make it in life, black people are like this, is because they oppress black people, is because of this and this and this. That is just to be political only without focusing on another sections of life. That's why the same people whom most of politicians always stand up and say the reason why we are poor is because of those races, especially white people. But when you look at the matter is when white people leave our continent, leave our countries. Have you noticed that countries in Africa, they remain worse off, far worse off than they were in white people? Have you noticed that? I can touch many countries. Trust me, some people they will argue and say sanctions have impact in those countries. But trust me, without the sanction, even if there is no sanction, whenever white people leave Africa, leave some places in Africa, let's not just raise some arguments for nothing. Whenever white people leave some sections of Africa and go back to Europe, Africa start to be worse off than it were. And as it becomes to be worse off than it were, we see the same African people who are complaining about white people going back to Europe to seek for greener pastures, going back to Canada, going back to America to seek for greener pastures. So you can see that the problem is not only the problem is not on that race. It's not about what that other race do to black people, do to African people, but also there is a problem which exists in the communities of white people which need to be addressed. You know, the problem with African leaders is they tell our people that the problem or the problems which you are facing is caused by another people, but they don't tell them that also there are some things which are existing in our community which they need proper attention. Then we can let's attend those things first. Let's solve those matters first before we can point the fingers. You see, any African leader will stand up and point the fingers at other people without pointing fingers at themselves or in their community. That person is not a leader at all. So that's how it is actually. So that's how it is. Yes, as African people, our continent is rich with resources, is rich with arable land, is rich with lots of things. But when you look at the matter is that what were we doing with those gold and diamonds before the arrival of white people in Africa? Let's be honest, our people. Let's be honest. Where people were making rhino statues with the gold, but we didn't have the skill to transform those gold into value-added goods. That one is just an honest truth, and let's just be truthful to ourselves. So we didn't have those skills, we didn't have those expensive or valuable skills to improve us. So it's not like African people were gonna like be successful or make it be civilized without the arrival of white people in Africa. So that's how it is. So I just want to be as honest as possible. We cannot run away from the fact that they brought skills, they brought great things. It's just that they brought them in a bad way. So that one is just an honest truth. So that's how it is. So now let me go straight to the point. Why are white people seems to succeed wherever they go, wherever they are in the areas of life? So the first thing which I just wanted to tackle, I just wanted to give you some background of the story before I can go to the reasons which I just brainstormed here. The first thing is white people or white world, they value information and skills. Most of our people, when they think of information and skills, they think of academic education. Whereas academic education is very important. It's just that also there are some information and skills which are needed When we say our country is going to be productive, is going to be important, we speak about when there's many people who have some unique skills which they can be used to impact positively our country. So if we only have people who study accounting, people who study medicine, people who study engineering, people who study statistics, just study as it is, cram, write the tasks, write the assignment, write exams, but we don't have some special skills, new things for each and every generation, which will try to look at things from the different perspective. That one will not cause a better civilization. A better civilization is caused by when people have special skills. And the only way to find the special skills is not only by looking at academic education, it's also by looking at some sectors of life, looking at some sectors of the skills, trying to check skills which they're gonna be important for us. So that's how it is. So information is very important. We don't seek information only from school, meaning that when you study engineering at school, don't say you want to know only about engineering. Also, try to check some areas of life. Try to find out about what other things are doing, because in that way you become more beneficial than when you just focus on one thing. When you just focus on engineering, or when you just focus on medicine, or when you're just focusing on accounting, which you do follow. But the moment you start to look at other perspective, look at other things, even that accounting perspective which you have, it become more powerful, you become more skillful, and you develop skills, special and unique skills which can be valuable to our community. So that's how it is actually. Then the second thing is their politics and their vision. Their politics, them, it moves with vision, whereas most of our African leaders, when they join politics, is when they want power and when they want to move out of poverty, or when they want to be more richer. Whereas them, whenever they form a party with a vision, looking at what are they going to get from that. They come together in their communities, discuss that all of us were going to vote for this party, have this mayor, have this premier, have this president, we're going to achieve this and this and this. I can give an example with that. Remember, after Anglo-Boer War in South Africa, when the British people were fighting with the Afrikaners, after everything happened to the Afrikaners, the Boers came together and formed a party called National Party. And after forming a party, they started to check how are they going to develop themselves with that national party, with their political party called National Party. And almost all of them were voting that party, and they knew that leaders which they're going to uplift, they are going to be beneficial for our people. So that's how it is. It's just that I know that that party was bad to black people, was bad to the rest of the population, but they managed to come together and see. So you can see that their vision, their politics move with vision. So that's the great thing about them. So remember, politics is something which rule academics, rule lots of things. So the moment they start to build their politics with vision, that's the moment they make everything great. They build the things on the right foundation. So that's how it is. You can trace the history of the British people when they went to America, when they were led by Christopher Columbus. When they get there, they build the right politics which moved with vision after they defeated the Red Indians there. So and that thing is something which, and their politics moved almost every individual whom they came with from Britain. So that's how it is. So it's their politics which moves with vision. And as their politics move with vision, it uplifts almost every one of them. So that's how it is actually. So another thing is them, they learn things. They touch all the sectors of education. They don't just focus on academic education. So that's how it is. For example, most of us black people, when we say we study accounting, we only focus on accounting. When we say we study finance, when we say we study medicine, when we say we study engineering, we only focus on things which we are studying, focus on enriching our IQs and all those things. We don't take time to check some sectors which will be beneficial. Trust me, if we can have people who have the broad mentality of checking things, our society will change. If we have people with great mentality. So we don't just need to focus on academic education, but we need to focus on lots of things. So that's how it is. So another thing which I can say, I will close off, is the general education. As I spoke, they touch a lot of things, whereas black people, most of us black people, will become specialists in things. We become specialists. We only want to focus on some small things of life. When we want to feed our IQ, we feed our IQ to be strong, but we don't focus on some sectors of life. Spiritually, we don't make ourselves to be spiritually equipped, physically equipped, like exercising and all those things, emotionally equipped, like trying to be strong emotionally and not offend each other, but tell one another the truth. Psychologically, we don't become psychologically equipped. Socially, we don't become socially equipped. Most of us black people, we have seen our brothers, we know them. We underestimate the impact of social network. When most of black people move out of poverty, you will hear them starting to build that belief. I don't care what people says about me. They underestimate the fact that they had to build a social network. They had to build the social foundation. So, which is something which is going to be great. But whenever white people succeed, or we know most of them already, they are successful. They still, despite their success, they still not underestimate the fact that they need the people. They need each other. You will see them respecting poor black people. We see this in South Africa, where white people who are successful giving high respect to poor black people, because they understand that the social network is very great for them. But most of black people, when they become successful, they treat their fellow black people as if they are not even human beings. That one is a truth, is a reality which exists on the surface. It's something which is very, very great and need to be equipped. Remember, there are certain things which I touched there. They are not 100% truths. It's not like all white people are like this. It's just that I'm speaking on average. Why are they beat ahead with lots of things, whereas us, we keep on staying where we are staying? So that's how it is in this video. I just wanted to address our community, speak to our society. Please, if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like it, and click the notification button. Let me see you on the next video. Shalom.